Hey there everyone, for Wall of Chefs casting team. My name's Stacy Kerr and this is my audition video for you. What I have going on here is I am currently butter basting some flank steak that I picked up at the local grocery store, some local or Ontario beef. Nice cut here, just seasoned simply with salt and pepper. That's what I love to do with a good piece of meat. I don't think it needs anything more than salt and pepper. Just butter basting it here to finish it and get a nice crust on it, with some garlic and some fresh oregano from out in my backyard, in my garden here. So I am just gonna let this go for one more minute and then I'll pull it off to rest. And in the meantime, what I'm also gonna work on is I'm gonna pull out these little baby onion rings that I have over here. I've battered and deep fried these tiny little pearl onions, and they are ready to go here. So I'm just gonna pull these out real quick before I turn my attention back to my steak. And hit it with some nice finishing salt. And then go ahead and pull my beautiful flank steak off the pan and get that resting. Perfect. So what I have next here working on is a pan of what I like to call cream corn, but of course it's always a little bit more elevated than that, right? So I took some fine diced white onions, some bacon lardons, sweated those down, took a couple of corn cobs and grilled them on the grill out back, just to give it a little bit extra char flavor. Cut it off the cob and added it in here. Reduce it down with a little bit of heavy cream, just a touch of cream cheese just to kind of smooth it out, you know, a little bit more indulgent, of course, and of course some salt and pepper. So I love doing this dish in particular. I have a real connection to this dish in that when I first got into cooking, like really into cooking, about probably 13 years ago, this was one of the first few dishes that I made. It was the summertime. I got to do a little bit outdoors, a little bit of grilling. I wanted something nice and fresh, but, you know, a little bit more on the, you know, the creamier side, you know. Can't eat healthy all the time, right? And so that is kind of the epitome of something that I love to cook. And what really kind of ignited my love for food and inspired me to go to culinary school that summer. I believe that was the summer of 2007 that was. So I just pulled the pan off the heat there while I multitask a little bit. I don't want my cream to reduce too much. And I'm just fine chopping some chives. And once again, these chives are fresh from my garden. I love pulling herbs from my garden out back and using them in dishes like this. Now it's funny that I actually, when I told my husband that I was going to make cream corn, I'm just hitting it with the parm, a little fresh grated Parmigiano Reggiano and the fresh chives here. When I first told my husband I was making cream corn, you know, you always associate that with kind of a pureed gloppy mess that comes straight from the can and everything, and he was very pleasantly surprised when he got to see this come out instead. And he said it was a 10 out of 10, which is what he likes to tell me when my food's a bit of a home run, right? So, let me grab a spoon here. Anyway, I mean, that's who I mostly cook for, is my husband. I've been married for almost 6 years. I have an 8-month-old son who has been loving my pureed veggies and fruits. Not so much on the pureed chicken and the eggs and things like that, but I'm sure he'll come around, right? And other than that, you know, I love to cook at any sort of family event that I have. You know, my husband's family is from here. My family's out in Saskatchewan, but I try and make it out as best I can. You know, so that's what I love to do. So let's get in with the plating here. I made some chimichurri earlier, which of course is some processed parsley, fresh oregano, some chilies, some garlic, olive oil, and red wine vinegar. So we're just gonna spread that on the plate. You know, I really believe that this dish epitomizes my style of cooking. Really fresh, really simple, but good techniques, and you know, a little bit more on the indulgent side, but always really tasty. So I'm gonna go ahead and slice up this flank steak to fan it out on top. I love cooking dishes like this in the summertime. It's bright, it's fresh, you get a little bit of the acidity from the chimichurri, a little bit of creaminess from the corn, and then of course that savory hit with the beef and with the onion on top. It's a nice beautiful medium rare, which is what I'm looking for. And then of course that crunchy element, which is where we can top with the onion rings, and of course if a few fall down to the side, that's okay too, right? And there we are. Enjoy.